An emperor's life is stressful, full of tough decisions. He needs a place of solace where he can recover and relax. A beautiful Zen garden filled with paths and statues and flora is just what he needs. Thank you for joining me today at Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Kevin Delp. Zen Garden is a 2 to 4 player tile laying game that plays in about 30 minutes. It's published by Queen Games, and they sent us this copy to review. The main play area has the selection board with tiles and the preference board or boards depending on how many you play with. Each player receives a garden board tokens and places their coin marker on 12. Here's a quick overview of Zen Garden. There are 16 rounds in the game. Players will be taking tiles that have different costs from the selection board, placing them in their own garden board. At the end of the game, they're going to be getting points based on different preferences. Each garden tile has 3 distinguishing factors: the floor color, the path type, and the decor icon. On your turn, you take one tile and pay any cost associated with that row. First row is free, second row costs 1, and the third row costs 2 coins. You would move your coin marker down for the amount you purchased the tile for, then place that tile on your board. In subsequent rounds, tiles placed must connect to other tiles, and you can move around that group of tile left, right, up, and down. Now if you have 4 tiles in a column, then you can't move it up and down anymore. Same would go for left and right. You can gain a bonus of 3 coins if you build 4 tiles in a row, column or diagonally, that all have the same decor. For your first game, it is recommended to play with just the first preference board, which I'll explain now. Later in the video, I'll show you the other preference boards. The preference board shows you what scores. During setup, you'll place out random Emperor tiles on preference board 1. At the end of the game, you'll get 1 point for each tile that matches that design. 8 points if you have the majority of these tiles, and 4 points if you have the second most. Negative or positive points depending on how many tiles match this design, and 2 points per tile for this one. Then you look at your paths. The most you could do is 4, and you could get 15 points. You'll also get points based on the number of matching decor you have. And whoever has the most points wins. I'm a big fan of tile laying games, and I love this one. It is so easy to teach and it's easy to learn how to play the game, yet it has some great decision making as well. What tile should I pick from the selection board? Because they have different costs. Which one's going to give me the most benefit for my garden board? And there's plenty of replayability in the game too, with all the different preference boards. The second preference board will give you 10 points if you can create your garden in such a way where each color floor forms one area and they aren't separate from each other. The third preference board gives you more points if you have fewer kinds of floors in your garden. The fourth and fifth preference boards act similarly. Each area has 2 Emperor tiles. If at any point in the game you have 4 of each of the combination, then you get the topmost victory point token. So you could have 4 of these floor tiles and 4 of these icons somewhere on your board, and that would complete the mission. So I've played this game with all 5 preference boards at once, and wow, there was just a lot to take in. There's so many different choices to make. I feel like in that scenario, you just really have to choose your own path, pun intended, that you really need to see which way will get you the most points. There was one game in that game where I was trying to keep my colors together because that would give me 10 points at the end of the game, but I felt like I was just passing up better points and more points from not taking other things that I don't know if that was really the best strategy for that game for me. If you can pick a tile that helps complete many different goals, that is the best because that will hopefully get you the most points. It's really up to your play group how many boards you play with. Keep it simple with level 1 or start adding in more. There's a few other things I really enjoy about Zen Garden, this tile laying game. First is you know exactly how long the game's going to be. 16 rounds. When your board is filled up, the game is over. And I also like the confines of the board. In many tile laying games, you are laying your tiles pretty much anywhere in your own area, or in some games like Carcassonne, there's this main area and it's just going all over the place. In Zen Garden, you have a 4x4 grid. So when you're placing your tile, it's really important to place it in the right spot to give you the best benefit. And there's 90 garden tiles with different icons, paths, and floors that make each game different, and lots of emperor tiles too that can change up the goals of each game. And I just love how the preference tiles stack on top of each other and looks like an emperor's palace. I'd actually compare this to another tile laying game from Queen Games, Alhambra. Now, it's not a direct comparison. There's no cards in Zen Garden. Of course, the scoring is totally different. But I think if you like Alhambra, I think you're going to like Zen Garden as well. So if this sounds like something you would enjoy as a tile laying game like I do, then check out Zen Garden from Queen Games. And as always, we would love for you to subscribe to Tantrum House and hit the like button on this video.